Vikings scoring on that one big 66-yard touchdown strike from Cunningham to Carter. A big edge for the 49ers all the way around.
And
for 121 yards, and Tommy Thompson kicking off deep. And David Palmer returning this from a yard in the end zone. David Palmer brings it out, and he is tackled at the 26-yard line. And right now, let's check in with Pam Oliver.
All right.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. And, of course, that tackling issue that Matt mentioned. But the Vikings go to work from the 27. And the give is to Robert Smith. And the best running play of the day for the Vikings nets them 8 yards by Smith before Ken Norton brings him down.
one of the things that these 49ers defensive tackles do, and Bryant Young and Dana Stubblefield, is that occasionally they'll sit off the ball and they'll give about a yard of a cushion. And the reason they do that is twofold. First of all, they think they can read better, and secondly, they believe they're better laterally than they are. You see how they're off. See how they're right here? There's kind of a bubble on the inside.
Second down and 2, and again Robert Smith, and this time Bryant Young slices through and stops Smith for a loss of 1.
Again, just going what we just talked about. He will take that and it'll allow him to read. He sits off and he sees what the lineman's going to do. Now he has great upper body strength. You can see. Just throws Everett Lindsey to the side, comes back and makes the tackle. There's that bubble we talked about, staying off the ball. There's the strength. And that, you know, I believe right there it wouldn't have mattered if he read him or not. He just overpowered him.
Yeah, right. Third down and 3. The Vikings 0 for 4 on third down conversions today. Flag is down. And usually this indicates a penalty against the offense, and it is a false start. Will be marked off.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 86, offense.
This was the wide receiver this
down.
time, Jake Reed. So instead of a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 8 will be the situation.
Heck, he probably was distracted there by Marquez Pope. Marquez Pope went out there and gave a little bit of a old Ali shuffle.
But you know, Matt, Dennis Green told Pam about the penalties, and that was a bad one because that presents 3rd and long versus 3rd and short.
He did it again. Hey, and Marquez Pope did it again. Matt Hatchett on the outside.
Yeah. And then Stussy followed suit.
Offense.
You're right.
5 yards, third down.
Marquez Pope is jumping up in his face and then just give him a little bit of a wiggle. Matt Hatchett got him to jump, and Stussy also jumped on the inside, like you said.
So a dismal way for the Vikings to start this second half. They'll have 3rd down and 13 back at the 24.
Watch Pope again. Yeah, he just hit like just a quick, and you did it. Yeah, he just turned around.
3rd down and 13, and this time Cunningham gets knocked down, and several of the 49ers, and this will be another one against Minnesota.
This is horrendous. I've never seen
3 straight false start penalties called against the Minnesota Vikings on 3 consecutive plays.
False start, number 71. Prior to the
This time David Dixon, the right guard.
At least they're spreading it around a little bit.
They only have 8 more players.
You know, you watch this game. I've been watching it for a long time. That's the first time I've ever seen 3 in a row.
That's the hat trick, Matt. So it's 3rd and 18 when it was once 3rd and 3. Cunningham going deep, and Chris Carter is knocked down, and that was Tyrone Drakeford, the nickel back, doing a fine job of staying with Chris Carter downfield, and that will bring up 4th down, and Minnesota will have to kick it away. Minnesota Vikings offense in one play today, the 66-yard pass on the mix-up defensively by the Niners from Cunningham to Chris Carter. And now Mitch Berger punting. Rod Woodson with the fair catch at the 37-yard line. That was Drakeford doing the job against Chris Carter. And we'll be right back. From their 38-yard line, leading 21-7. Steve Young fires out to the sideline. J.J. Stokes has it. close to the first down, maybe shy by a yard.
Now, I tell you, the one thing the 49ers aren't doing is you're not pushing the ball down the field. You can see right here with Steve Young, past 15, just one for one there, and then 12 out of 16. There's 3 for 4, 75% under 15 yards. The defense is sitting off. He's just taking what they're going to give him.
Steve Young completed all 7 passes in the second quarter and his first attempt here in the third. Second down and 1, and here is Kirby's got the first down as he drives into Minnesota territory. Robert Griffith coming up to make the play.
Dick, you know who's been playing well for the 49ers today is William Floyd. William Floyd, I think he's all the way back off that knee. And again, I mentioned earlier, working with Tom Rathman, I think he's a better blocker now than he was prior to the knee. Prior to the knee, he just tried to knock you over every time. He's using a little bit more body position, but he still gives you good toughness out of that backfield.
His blocking has enabled Kirby to get 53 yards and a touchdown. First and 10 at midfield, pressure on Young, and this pass intended for Brent Jones, covered downfield by Dixon Edwards. Edwards claims that he was interfered with by Brent Jones on his way downfield.
Dixon Edwards is just working with him, gets his hands on him, gets the jam. Now watch, it could have gone either way. Hey, I'm all in favor of that. Just let them play. Let them play. I think that's a good non-call.
Brent Jones coming out of the game and replaced by Greg Clark, rookie tight end. Second down, 10. Here is Jerry Kirby going up the middle, and Jerry Ball grabbed him from behind, but a good gain of 7 yards, and that will bring up third down and short for the 49ers, who are in Minnesota territory. And Chris Dahlman, the center, back in the lineup for the 49ers. He was shaken up. You got the report from Pam Oliver before the kickoff. Here's Jason Fisk and Dwayne Clemens coming in defensively, and confusion on the part of the Vikings defense here. Third down and 4. Young will run for it and slide.
He's going to be short.
He is short, you're right.
That is a departure. There's a perfect example.
He didn't do that always.
Yeah, no, Steve Young in prior years would have gone head first, and he would not have slid. Watch, he sees it right away. He sees the coverage. He sees they're going to jump it, and he also knows that there's nobody there, so he takes off and runs. Tell you the other thing about Steve Young, you were always guaranteed with Steve Young to get some great facial expressions when he takes off, and he always does. Get those good faces going when he's running.
And I was amazed that Steve Young, when he was at Brigham Young, almost played safety, that he never almost had a chance to play quarterback.
Did play safety. Told us the other day he was the 8th string quarterback, and he was the fastest guy. And then his offensive coordinator, Doug Scoville, just basically said, look, we don't like lefties, so you're good enough to play in the secondary. But he wouldn't give up on it. I think there's a lesson to be learned there. They wanted to play him at safety, but he wanted to keep on being a quarterback, so he made sure he threw every single day.
He hung in there. Ted Tallner became the offensive coordinator, and Tallner said, you can play quarterback. The 49ers want to see how much they are short. It's less than a yard. It'll be 4th and less than 1. Decision for Steve Mariucci, and he's going to go for it.
Well, he's got his grunt backfield in there again. Remember, he's got William Floyd and
Mark Edwards,
44.
Edwards, a rookie from Notre Dame, so here come the 49ers, 4th and less than 1. William Floyd, it's a fake, and the pass is caught by Brent Jones, and he's got a first down at the 25-yard line. A gain of 16, well executed by the 49ers, and a good fake by Steve Young.
Up to that time, you just take the grunts and you fake them. And then because you have those legs of Steve Young, you use them. You fake one way, you get your whole defense flowing, and a nice fake and carrying out by William Floyd, and then you bring Young back the other way.
Not an easy catch either for Brent Jones.
And not an easy throw either. He's rolling away from his strength.
First down for the 49ers on the 25 of the Vikings. And Terry Kirby lost his footing momentarily and gains 1 yard. Well, Steve Young, who has been the stabilizing force, here's what Steve Mariucci said about his veteran quarterback.
You know,
that's all you can ask for Steve Young at this stage. He's healthy. 2nd down and 9. And here comes pressure on Young, and that was Dixon Edwards who came in free from his linebacker position, and that will bring up 3rd down and long.
You know, it's funny, I mentioned to Steve Mariucci, who also coached Brett Favre when he was in Green Bay under Mike Holmgren, and asked him to kind of compare the two. You know, Steve Young doesn't have the same arm strength as Brett Favre, but he said his decision-making makes him that much more efficient. Because he said Steve Young practices every day not to throw interceptions. He won't try to take a chance, and that's helped him through his career.
3rd down and 9 with 4 wide receivers for the 49ers. And Young on a slant completes the pass to Brent Jones, short of the 1st down, but in solid field goal range for Gary Anderson.
An excellent sight adjust by Brent Jones and Steve Young, something they've been doing forever. They see the blitz coming to the inside. You can see he's saying, how far? He wants to know.
Yeah, he may go for it again. He did once. Gary Anderson flexing his leg on the sideline, the veteran field goal kicker.
That's hard. How far? You can almost see his voice get high when he asks that question. Hey, what? Steve Mariucci is one enthusiastic coach.
He's naturally gung-ho, not artificially, naturally gung-ho. That's a little longer than a yard. 4th down. And here comes Gary Anderson to try the field goal. Gary Anderson, who has connected on 17 of his last 19 field goal attempts in postseason. This will be a 34-yard field goal attempt. The punter, Tommy Thompson, will hold. And the most prolific field goal kicker in history at 385. And Anderson's kick is good. He missed 2 against the Vikings 4 weeks ago, but this one is perfect, and the 49ers now lead 24-7. Vikings with a 1st and 10 on the 24. 3 wide receivers and the handoff to Robert Smith. Robert Smith turning the corner at the 30, still going, and a fine bit of running. He broke some tackles before Brian Young brings him down in a pickup of 18 yards.
They have not been able to be consistent offensively all game long. This is really only the 4th real play that they've had. Remember, you had the 66-yard touchdown reception to Chris Carter, and then Glover had a 31-yard catch. And in this run is the 3rd biggest play they've had all day.
That is the first rushing 1st down by the Vikings today. They're on the 42-yard line. Randall Cunningham stepping up, and he's going deep for Jake Reed, and Reed has it inside the 10-yard line. And Marquez Polk brings him down, and another big gain. This one, 53 yards.
And it's not like it was bad coverage, but it was a 6'4" Jake Reed who got to the top side of Tyrone Drakeford. Drakeford runs with him stride for stride. This is the classic example of a big guy versus a shorter guy. The ball was just thrown. He also got that half a step. Nice little pushing going on in there. And the ball really well thrown.
It was, and if it weren't for big plays, the Vikings would really be behind the 8 ball. 1st and goal at the 5. And here's Leroy Horde, the bruising running back on the tandem of Smith and Horde, gets 4 yards, and it is 2nd down and goal.
See how Leroy Horde finished off that run? I mean, he finished up. There's a way to fall properly, and he fell forward. I mean, he was going, he was getting tackled, but he twisted his body and just kept it going forward, and actually picked up another 2 yards just on the fall.
Drakeford and Polk go out of the game, and 49ers with extra man up front, 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. Leroy Horde won't get there and might even lose a yard. Ken Norton Jr. the first to reach it. It'll be 3rd and goal, and of course this is 4-down territory for the Vikings, who trail by 17.
It's a nice job of reading your keys and then just jumping what you see. Randall McDaniel's going to pull around, and Ken Norton Jr. just comes in from the side and is able to make the stop in the backfield. But more than that, the defensive line of San Francisco is winning that battle.
3rd down and goal. Andrew Glover in motion. Cunningham's pass caught, touchdown to Chris Carter. His 2nd catch for a touchdown today. And Cunningham is hit, slowly getting up. Chris Dolman, the former Viking, was there, but Cunningham appears to be all right as he runs off the field.
Well, if you listen to our pregame show, one of the things they talked about was inside the red zone, Chris Carter and Randall Cunningham were on the same page. He just ran right past Tim McDonald. Tim McDonald had the coverage. But Carter whipped his head around before Tim McDonald could.
Eddie Murray with the extra point, and the Minnesota Vikings with an impressive drive sparked by a 53-yard pass. There's a flag on the field. And it'll be holding against the Vikings. Carter with his 2nd touchdown catch of the day.
87 on the kicking.
Hunter Goodwin.
10-yard penalty.
Here's the touchdown again. Man, the ball just was thrown, and actually Chris Carter whipped his head around before Tim McDonald could, and then a good job of getting those. I don't know. He got 1 foot down for sure, but that second one, that toe right there. Oop, that's not the toe. I know my anatomy. That ain't a toe. One. Oh, look at that right there.
Meanwhile, the extra point kicked from the 20-yard line is good by Murray. And with 5:13 remaining in the 3rd quarter, the Vikings get a touchdown back. That first put in, right. But it's a touchdown for the Vikings, who trailed by 10. And now Mitch Berger will be kicking off. Line drive kick. Chuck Levy from the 5. And Levy is brought down on a fine play by Pete Bursich. A 20-yard return. Oh, yeah. But you're a good scout for the All Madden team. You always have been. Here's Terry Kirby with a burst. Terry Kirby. And all of a sudden, the Minnesota defense gets pushed around by the front, and a good blocking, a gain of 22 yards before Robert Griffith brings them down at the 47.
That's been to the right side where they've been blocking, and they've also been getting some stuff down the field with Terrell Owens. Remember, Terrell Owens and J.J. Stokes, both big bodies and both willing to block. What they've been able to do is they've been able to take advantage of that rookie side. Stalin Colonnade and Tony Williams. And then Scrafford and Gogan have been winning that battle.
Kirby with 85 yards rushing gets another attempt. This is his 16th. Great cutting by Terry Kirby. And finally, Torian Gray with a tackle, but another first down to the 40-yard line of the Vikings.
You know, just talking to Steve Mariucci, he said, we've got to be able to get Terry Kirby running the ball effectively. He said, as a matter of fact, we had a little sit-down this week. And we talked to him about making the play and running through blocks and being physical. And he has really run well today.
Garrison Hurst, who had a big year, broke his collarbone in week 14 against Kansas City and gained over 1,000 yards. Chuck Levy replaces Terry Kirby in the backfield. First down, Steve Young, short drop. Terrell Owens with a catch and a minimal gain on the play.
You know, most defenses will say this: we will give you 5 yards, we'll make you work down the field methodically. In chances are that you're not going to be able to do it. Somewhere along the line, you're going to mess something up, and either you'll turn the ball over or you'll lose it on downs. But with the 49ers, you can't do that, because once they have the rhythm like they have now, they can drive it in 10 and 15 play drives.
Undefeated at home this year for the first time in their NFL history. Second down and 7. Young on rhythm as J.J. Stokes still on his feet and out of bounds.
Another missed
at the 25-yard line.
Another missed tackle by the Minnesota Vikings.
And this game summary is brought to you by Budweiser. It's been all the 49ers as far as the first downs are concerned. Steve Young with a precision-like game running for 37 yards, but Chris Carter has kept the Vikings in there with 2 touchdowns of his 3 receptions on the day. 1st and 10 at the 25 of Minnesota. Inside handoff, William Floyd. And Gray brings him down, but Floyd is close to yet another 49er first down.
What a nice little misdirection.
Wheeler slow getting up. He's shaken up. Steve Mariucci wanting to know how close the 49ers are to a first down. Leonard Wheeler, who started the game as the Vikings nickelback on the defense and then has played every down at cornerback after Dwayne Washington picked up an early pass interference call. Here comes the measurement. And they've got another first down. 49ers on the 15 of the Vikings.
You know, the offensive line of this 49ers, you can see today, Deason, Brown, Dahlman, Gogan, Strafford. Only 1 sack allowed, 148 rushing yards. And the majority has been to this side. And Strafford and Gogan have played very well today.
Kirk Strafford, according to Steve Mariucci, said he graded out the best of all the offensive linemen this season.
Ray Brown has played well in there. Dahlman, Derek Deese.
First down on the 15. Steve Young swings it out, intended for William Floyd. I'd have to think this is a critical defensive sequence for the Minnesota Vikings if they have any hopes of staging another comeback, something they've done with regularity this year.
I think anything in this game anymore is critical for them. I mean, their whole season is down right here. They're down by 10 points. If you can hold them to a field goal and it's still a 2-score game, you're okay.
2nd down and 10.
Relatively okay.
Once again, the 49ers with a ball control edge of 11 and a half minutes. Steve Young. And this pass is caught by Terrell Owens. Touchdown.
Great effort by Terrell Owens. Great effort.
Still motoring is number 81.
He feels so good about himself, he's still going. And Dwayne Washington was right there. Dwayne Washington read it. He gave him a cushion. He drove on the ball. But Owens, with his ability to be physical, made the catch. Watch how he takes this and then just shrugs the tackle. Watch the drive on the ball. He just throws him to the side and gets that ball. Remember, it's where the ball is, not where the body is.
I like the way he high-stepped it, though, toward the goal line. Gary Anderson with the point after with 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. So the 49ers quickly get this touchdown back. After Carter scored his, he got the ball over, he's got everything over. And it's now 31-14, San Francisco.
Back stance. See, they dance.
Look at his eyes.
They dance from the waist up. They're good chair dancers. See, and he knows it.
And at age 36, he can do it with the younger guys. David Palmer returning the kickoff. Fumbles. And the Vikings appear to have recovered the fumble at the 22-yard line. And it was forced by Jim Schwantz. And now for McDonald's game. Robert Smith will be the lone running back with 3 wide receivers. First down. Cunningham swings it out, but not a good pass to Robert Smith, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 10. Faked by Cunningham. Dangerous pass attempt to Carter with Tyrone Drakeford cutting in.
One thing that Minnesota Vikings have done pretty well, I mean, they haven't thrown the ball well, but what they have done is been able to block inside on Dana Stubblefield. We really haven't talked much about him. That's Randall McDaniel and Everett Lindsay for the most part. It's interesting talking to Dana Stubblefield going against Randall McDaniel. He says two things. Boy, he said he's an all-day sucker. You better be ready to play all game long. But he said the other thing is that stance is so ugly that you end up looking at the ankle and say, what the heck is that thing doing out there?
Very unorthodox. 3rd down and 10. Cunningham on the rollout, being rushed, and his pass incomplete, broken up by Woodson, and it was intended for Jake Reed. So it'll be 4th down, and the Vikings will have to kick it away with under a minute and a half to go in the 3rd. Cheers for the 49er defense. Number 1 in the NFL all year.
Their secondary has played very well today.
Yes, they have. Mitch Berger kicking for the 6th time. And Ron Woodson back to receive. Flag is down. Fair catch called by Woodson at the 38. But there's a penalty. That kick went 40 yards. Bob McElwee.
Holding number 36 on the return team. After the ball was kicked, the receivers will keep the ball after enforcement for their foul. First down.
There it is.
Working on Dwayne Butler in the outside. See what they used to do? Sometimes, see, the old play was to let the guy run you over and then you just latch onto him and pull him down with you. That time, the old rule was caught.
You can get away with it? What do you say about rules?
Hey, they're not broken unless the flag is on the ground.
Steve Young, 20 of 25 in Week 15 against the Vikings, and another great percentage, 19 of 26. Combined 76%. That'll be top rated in any league. 49ers from the 28-yard line, leading 31-14. And the give is to Kirby, not that time, as he'll lose a couple of yards. Go left. 2nd down and 12. Steve Young up the middle with Brent Jones, and no complete is the call on Jones, who took a lick from Robert Griffin.
Steve Young saw that quick. Brent Jones knew it was going to happen. He's been there enough times.
And he's not getting up.
He just got to catch his breath right now. Robert Griffiths was right there. Griffiths was looking right in. Here's the thing about Brent Jones. He knew he was going to take the hit. He wanted to try to get small as quick as he could, but the ball got there right as Griffiths did. And that's in slow motion. Watch this in regular speed. Bang! And you're a receiver, and you're running to the middle of the field. You know that's going to happen. I mean, and Brent Jones has done it for a lot of years and done it well.
Robert Griffith is over there checking on Brent Jones. See him with his right hand on his shoulder. Steve Young.
They're chanting Brent Jones' name. Watch Jones as he runs to the middle. He knows he has the inside open. Knows he's going to get hit, but he just concentrates completely on the ball. Doesn't have enough time to get small after the catch is made.
Chris Carter of the Vikings is right in the middle of it now as well. Brent Jones.
Brent Jones got hit
in the mouth.
In the kisser, yeah. He's retiring after this season. There are some of his teammates,
pretty good career,
who are questioning whether he should retire. And the reason they're questioning him is because he's still so effective.
Gary Plummer was expected to retire. Now he's having second thoughts, the 49er linebacker, as to whether he'll hang him up.
There's a group out here from his district. There's Gary Plummer. There's a group out here from Brent Jones' area who want him to run for political office, and he's considering that.
Getting some votes right now.
Hey, what if they had the election right here in Candlestick Park? We get a lot of votes.
That ought to be his campaign poster. Show how tough he is. Greg Clark will replace Brent Jones at tight end, rookie from Stanford. There's Robert Griffith with that hit. There's Clark in the lineup. 3rd down and 12 on the 26. 36 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Mark Harris goes in motion to the left, and the screen pass is dropped by Terry Kirby. 15-3, business as usual, and a team record 11-game winning streak and an all-time record for a rookie coach, Steve Mariucci, 11 in a row. But a great year all the way around.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. In terms of getting the job done, there's still some people out there who are saying, well, you know, we really haven't played anybody. The one team that they played was the Kansas City Chiefs, and they thumped them.
High snap, and Thompson getting off the punt, and it's a good one. David Palmer keeps the ball, and he's dropped. He did not fool the 49ers on that return, and he is dropped at the 32-yard line. Vikings have a first down on the 32-yard line, and Leroy Hoard picks up a couple. And that may be the last play of the 3rd quarter.
Minnesota Vikings have not been able to do anything offensively here today. And anytime a team goes into a game thinking they need big plays, they're in trouble.
And that is the end of it in each of the first 3 quarters. Vikings with the ball, 2nd and 7. Randall Cunningham with a play fake, and his pass is complete to Jake Reed, and a first down into 49er territory, 18 yards on the play.
Jake Reed working on Marquez Pope on the outside, and Pope is just bailing, just keeping the receiver in front of him because he's sitting there in his zone. Nice job of Randall Cunningham seeing it and then just throwing it, just basically taking what they give you.
3 catches for 82 yards, including a 53-yard reception in the 3rd quarter. Palmer is in the lineup on 1st and 10 at the 46. Cunningham throws it away, smartly avoiding the sack. Right now, let's check in with Pam Oliver.
Sometimes my tongue tastes so good I want to eat it.
It's something else. 2nd down and 10. Cunningham, and unable to hold on to it as Reed. Flag is down as Pope was there.
That's going to go on Jake Reed. Jake Reed pushed off of Pope right at the end of that play.
And for Brent Jones as he leaves the field, but the way things look, his season is not over yet by any stretch. They need 10 yards, and Randall Cunningham going for Matthew Hatchett. Incomplete, covered by Merton Hanks downfield. And it's 4th down, and the Vikings will go for it, I would assume, on 4th down. I guess I assumed wrong. Mitch Berger is going to come in to kick it away.
The secondary of this 49er defense has been on top of their game just about all game long. They had a couple of big plays that happened to them earlier. But for the majority of 3 quarters, they have not given anything up.
Chuck Levy is back to receive the punt, and he calls for the fair catch at the 22. Rod Woodson has a strained left calf, and thus Levy returning that punt. Starting from their 21-yard line, Steve Young handing off to Terry Kirby. Kirby getting a 1 yard on the play. Ed McDaniel making the tackle. Big guy limping there was Kevin Gogan.
Kevin Gogan has his buddy Steve Wisniewski of the Raiders, who he played with last year here in the stands. Got him some tickets, wanted to rub it in a little bit that he's playing, and Steve Wisniewski wasn't.
Kevin Gogan also will be playing in the Pro Bowl.
This looks like a big old lapdog to me.
Want to adopt him. Second down and 8. Play action. Steve Young flips it out to Terry Kirby. Terry Kirby has been the big offensive hero other than Steve Young today, and he gets enough for the first down. Leonard Wheeler on the tackle to the 35 of the 49ers.
Well, they needed Terry Kirby to come through, and he responded. He's run well, and he's always done a good job of catching the ball out of the backfield. Torian Gray, you can see there, number 23, with his helmet off and getting up a little slow.
At free safety for Minnesota. Here is Terry Kirby, who has over 125 total yards today. Brought down by Orlando Thomas after a pickup of 3 yards. Kirby's biggest game rushing this year was 73 yards. He's gone over 100 rushing. 102. He has scored a touchdown plus 24 yards as a receiver.
Well, Steve Mariucci said they had a little sit down and he needed to talk about him running and running well, and whatever those words were spoken, he took to heart because he's run very well here today.
He set the tone offensively for the 49ers early on. Second down and 7. And again, it's Kirby. Good gain, close to the first down. Third down and 1 for the 49ers. Greg Clark and Chad Fan, the 2 tight ends. Brent Jones left for the dressing room with an injury. And a play fake. Steve Young dumps it off, nowhere to go. And that flag goes down.
That's going to be on John Randall.
Randall knocked down Steve Young, and he's hearing it from Derek Deese, the left tackle. Roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 93. Defense going to the head. 15 yards, first down.
During the regular season, the Vikings roughed the passer 6 times to lead the league.
Now, the referee's job is to protect. He went helmet to helmet. That's a good call. His job is to protect that quarterback. And he jumped up and hit him right in the face, so the helmet to helmet hit. You see, and John Randall walked by Steve Young. Steve Young let him know what he thought of that call. Something about what falls out of the south end of a northbound bull. See, watch the helmet. It's going to go right to the head. Boom. Yeah, you can't do that. That's a good call by the official.
Can't put your hands up after you've done that either. I think you won't get caught. First down, Kirby again, following his blockers. He breaks down and he goes down, and a loss of about 1.5 yards. Rudd and Tony Williams. First time we mentioned that rookie's name today. John Randall, always the talker, the chatterbox out there.
Howie Long had a funny line. The only thing that moves faster than his motor is his mouth. I thought that was pretty good. And he'll talk all game long. In fact, Steve Young was telling us that in the intermissions, what they'll have to do is he'll have to tell his offensive line, don't listen to Randall. Don't even turn around and look at him. Keep your mouth shut and watch me.
And then he'll stop talking. Second down and 12 on the 43 of the Vikings. There's Kirby. And finally, McDaniel makes the play with help from Robert Griffith. Back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up third down and 10.
Tell you that Robert Griffith, he will come 100 miles an hour to hit you. And like I said, he'll throw all that he has into you. But sometimes he doesn't wrap his arms, or sometimes he stops his feet. And we were talking about that last night. He said, yeah, you were telling me, you said it on the air. And my mom called me and said, hey, this guy Millen, he's saying you don't wrap your arms.
You don't want to make Robert Griffith's mom up.
No. And as soon as he starts wrapping his arms all the time, I won't say it anymore.
Third down and 10. Steve Young stepping up. And Young has an open man, and it's J.J. Stokes. Stokes inside the 15-yard line. And that time a gain of 29 yards. Stokes has had a big day for the 49ers.
Corey Fuller got up yelling at Orlando Thomas. Steve Young saw it. See how he looked to his left the whole time? And then Corey Fuller had gotten a push on him and turned it over to his safety. He was expecting his safety to come all the way over.
And without Jerry Rice, J.J. Stokes and Terrell Owens have come up big with those numbers compared to a year ago. And in all fairness to Stokes, he is healthy for the first time in his career. And today, 13 catches for 150 yards and a touchdown by the two. Kirby up the middle, and he gets to the 5-yard line on first down.
This is the best I've seen Terry Kirby run. Terry Kirby is running hard. He's squaring his shoulders, and he's also running low.
Well, Kirby's been a hero. Of course, Steve Young always is when they move the ball like this. He has 115 yards, does Terry Kirby. And J.J. Stokes, that catch, by the way, play ago was his 9th of the game, and that is a career high for him.
Nick, I said right at the start of the game that the Minnesota Vikings had to break the rhythm of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, obviously, the next question is how.
Second down and 4 from the 6. And Terry Kirby gets to the goal line and is stopped short. Kirby, by the way, with a career high today rushing with well over 120, and add some more to that. It'll be a first down and goal at the 1. With 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter in what is going to be a convincing San Francisco 49er victory.
Dick, to answer that question of how, I think there's 2 things that you definitely have to do against San Francisco. First of all, you can't just sit in zones and let the receivers run. You have to be able to knock the receivers around at the line of scrimmage.
Pretty good balance today. And a touchdown, Terry Kirby with his second TD of the game with 7:32 to go. So career games today by Terry Kirby on the ground, J.J. Stokes as a receiver, and the offensive line doing a brilliant job.
That looked like a satisfied head coach. That looked like a head coach who knew his offensive line was getting the job done. Nice job by Greg Clark, 85. Good job also by Ray Brown, number 65. And then Kirby just fouled those blocks, found the crease, and scored.
Gary Anderson. And the extra point is good. So Terry Kirby with 120 yards on 25 carries, 2 touchdowns, and the 49ers winning going away here 38-14. 49ers in this divisional matchup the last 2 years, one time here at San Francisco 2 years ago. Thompson with the kickoff and David Palmer returning. And he is stopped at the 27 by Zach Bronson. Randall Cunningham making his 5th start after Brad Johnson got hurt. Here's Leroy Horde on the draw play, and Horde picking up about 6 yards on the play. Vikings in the hurry-up offense, something they were reluctant to do last week when they trailed the Giants.
Now being down by 24, they have no choice.
Second down and 4. Cunningham off the hands of Ford, incomplete. Third down and 4 with under 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Chris Carter with the reception, and his forward progress is very close to the first down. Burton Hanks all over him. Hanks indicating that Carter did not make the sticks, and Burton may be right. It is a first down for Minnesota. Carter with a 66-yard touchdown catch in the first quarter, and then a 3-yard reception for a score in the third, in a day in which he's only caught 4 overall. First down for the Vikings. Short drop, and there's Chris Carter again. And a pickup of about 6 with 6:06 remaining on the clock. There is Terry Kirby, who has come up big today for the 49ers. No question about it, 120 yards rushing.
It's good. M-I-C-K-E-Y. Why? Because I love you.
Second down and 4. Cunningham's pass, and it is caught by Jake Reed at the 39 of the 49ers, and a gain of 18. Well, that's a contrast for Ken Norton after pummeling the padding under the goalpost.
You know, Ken Norton Jr., and Gary Plummer. They just went down like 4 notches in my book before the game. I'm sitting there in the locker room, just kind of watching the earlier football game, and Gary Plummer and Ken Norton walk by with wheels on their luggage.
Oh, that is hard to believe.
That's as bad as it gets in the National Football League. You start having that luggage when you're rolling it behind you.
You never want to see that. And a one-handed catch and a great catch by Chris Carter to the 30-yard line. Could you imagine that? And we saw some of the Redskins with the wheels this year.
That's terrible. That's not a good sign in the National Football League, but that's a great catch by Chris Carter.
Why do you bring up the luggage with wheels?
That's just a major concession. When you start, you can't even carry your own luggage. You got to wheel it behind you. Needless to say, I told them that it wouldn't make the air, but I lied.
2nd down and 1. Under 5 minutes remaining. Pump fake by Cunningham, and this pass intended for Reed. That will bring up a 3rd down and 1. Chris Dolman, who had 2.5 sacks, former Viking in the regular season meeting, and was revved up to go against his former team. He still had harbored some bad feelings for the Minnesota Vikings. Then went to the Atlanta Falcons, but has downplayed this game today, and he holds the Vikings record with 21 sacks back in the '89 season. 3rd and 1, the quarterback sneak, 1st down by Randall Cunningham.
Well, you know who's played pretty well against him today has been Todd Stussy over there on the left side. And he gave up a couple of pressures. Remember the one time he gave up the hit into Randall Cunningham's face, and all he could do was help him back up. I think Stussy's turned into a pretty solid left tackle.
Line's done a good job, but they haven't run anything today, that's for sure. And the pass is overthrown. Good pass protection for Cunningham, but the running game has been snuffed out by the 49ers inside people.
Really, Minnesota Vikings couldn't get any kind of rhythm at all offensively. I said it earlier, and I'll repeat myself. I think when you have to start relying on big plays, you're in trouble because you can't plan for big plays. You can't game plan big plays.
Robert Smith, 3rd leading rusher in the NFC, but they did not have that aspect of their offense today. 2nd down and 10. Cunningham in the air again, and this one caught by Reed and out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. 4:17 remaining in the 4th quarter. Today's NFC Divisional Playoff game was produced by Richard Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. Our associate producer is Larry Lancaster, and our broadcast associates are Greg Scopatoni and Jacob Ullman. Thanks also to our technical producer Dean Walker, Rich Basili, and our outstanding Fox technical staff, Freddie Aldous in audio, and his crew. 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Mike Rutuz. Pre-game was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. But for our money, Matt, our guys are second to none as far as this crew is concerned.
I'll take them. I'll take them anytime as long as I don't have to feed them.
That's a tough thing. 2nd down and 9. And this pass caught by Hatchett. And he gets over for the touchdown. Matthew Hatchett with the touchdown. A 13-yard score with 3:47 to go. Tyrone Drakeford tried to hold him back.
Yeah, he tried to take an arm with him, but remember, it's where the ball is. Now he grabs the right arm, and Hatchett alertly just puts it across and breaks the plane, and that's 6. For that knee, right there. I don't know about that there.
38-20, and a 2-point conversion coming up for the Vikings. Trailing by 18 points.
Making a 16-point game.
Cunningham has it. And Chris Walsh, former Stanford performer. And now it is a 38-22 game with 3:47 to go. 16-point game, and that's 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and the Minnesota Vikings lining up for an onside kick. The 49ers have their good hands people at the 40-yard line. It worked last week for the Vikings as they recovered the onside kick when Chris Callaway bobbled it, as Minnesota came from behind in the final moments. And here is the onside kick, and it's tipped out of bounds by Terry Kirby.
That's a good job of getting the hands on the ball and just knocking it out of bounds. They're going to try to kick it high and turn it into a jump ball.
And he just tapped it away.
That's an excellent job. That's an excellent job of Kirby. He's played well all the way around. Nice hang time, too. So he hangs up there. Bink.
And George Stewart, the special teams coach.
They say that's good, smart play.
The ball was last touched by the receivers.
That's right.
San Francisco's ball, 1st and 10.
Right. It is the 49ers ball. So the 49ers recovering the onside. There's Brent Jones back. And what do they do with his tongue is the big issue. He bit on it.
As soon as he came out on the field, I was watching. Everybody's coming and just looking in his mouth.
Jeff Brom has come in at quarterback for the 49ers. Brom has appeared in 4 games this year. And they're going to keep it on the ground. Chuck Levy, flag is down, and Levy fights his way to the Minnesota 40-yard line. Clock stopping with 3:37 to go.
See, Steve knows he threw him that ball. See, Steve Young knows that he threw him the ball, that got him the shot, that bit his tongue.
So he feels guilty.
So now he's going over there and he's trying to cheer him up.
I'm back.
It's the first thing they come over and everybody's asking about his mouth. And everybody was looking at his mouth. It's right there.
Penalty is against the
open line and say,
I don't think he can do either one of those things. Penalty marked off against the 49ers. They're back to their own 45. 1st down and 20 on the 46. Jeff Brom out of Louisville in his 3rd year. And he was the quarterback who replaced Steve Young in the first quarter of the opening game at Tampa Bay. Young had a concussion. Here is Chuck Levy. Levy is dropped by Robert Griffin. Vikings have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and they'll use 1 here. Matt, they decided to go with the onside kick with 3:37 to go. Denny Green, instead of kicking deep and holding, you could go either way with that decision.
Well, the bottom line is just to stop him right here now, regardless of what happened prior to it.
Well, there is a coach who certainly has been in turmoil. You know, his book came out and it listed a scenario, a plan to sue the owners of the Vikings if he would not gain control, and that has been an issue as far as the Vikings are concerned. And then last week, he talked about a conspiracy of columnists in the Twin Cities who want to run him out of town. Now, Dennis Green, rumored to be possibly the next head coach of the Oakland Raiders, certainly has been in a swirl of controversy, and that, you know, is something that Dennis Green has never backed away from, even from his days at the University of Iowa when he led a revolt in the 1968 season.
I don't know anything about that, Dick. All I know is the guy has taken his team to the playoffs every year. I think he's a pretty good football coach.
Yes, he is. 2nd down and 23. And he won his first playoff game as Chuck Levy carries last week against the Giants as the Vikings call their 2nd timeout, leaving them with 1. But to have so much controversy happen during a season twice is unusual for any team. But one thing we know is that the players have been solidly behind Dennis Green. It has not affected their play 1 iota, and you can go up and talk to them and they'll tell you that.
Well, the bottom line is he's a good football coach, and the teams that he's put out every single season have been competitive, and they've won, and they've been in the playoffs. And I think that's what you look at. I mean, it's still the bottom line business. Now, the other side to that is how far has he taken? You know, this is the first year that he's gotten past the first playoff game.
3rd down and 19 with 3:22 remaining in the 4th quarter. Chuck Levy And Griffith is the first to get to him back at the 45-yard line. And the Vikings will use their third and final timeout.
But he's been able to calm the group down.
Tommy Thompson's kick. David Palmer returning from the 19-yard line. And almost an opening, as it was Frankie Smith that prevented a big gain. Vikings with a first down on their 31 with 3 minutes remaining. Cunningham's pass is to Andrew Glover into 49er territory and a gain of 22 yards.
Well, the hurry up.
Vikings out of timeouts. They need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions to tie it up, and they stop the clock with 2:44 left. So they've had practice. Second down and 10. Randall Cunningham's pass, and it's Glover again down the middle as the Niners try to wrestle it away. And a first down at the 15-yard line.
Nice job of Cunningham getting him up to the line of scrimmage. He wants to be able to stop the clock again.
And he does it with 2:23 on the clock.
He had thoughts, though. He had thoughts outside of Marquez Pope and Chris Carter. So he went back and took one little peek, but Marquez Pope didn't drop his guard. Stayed right on top of him. Now look, the clock will still stop at the 2-minute mark. They got to score right here, get their 2-point conversion, and they have more than enough time.
3 touchdown passes by Randall Cunningham ties Fran Tarkenton's record, set against the Redskins in '76. Second down and 10. Kevin Green putting some pressure on, but Cunningham's pass almost intercepted by Drakeford and intended for rookie Matthew Hatchett. That was right in his numbers.
Drakeford is complaining to the officials, saying Hatchett pushed off of him. Cunningham came out, and he came up firing. That ball was delivered.
You know, he didn't have his left hand.
Well, watch what happens. See, he gets Hatchett. It gets caught between Hatchett right there. See, so it's really not Hatchett as much as it is Drakeford.
Third down and 10. Cunningham drills it behind Matthew Hatchett, and that will present a 4th down and 10, and the Vikings with a last gasp here to try to keep their hopes flickering. They've got to get inside the 7-yard line or the 6-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, and I think that's key. You know, they don't have to score here. They just have to get the first.
4th down. Cunningham's pass, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Chris Carter and covered by Brett Maxey. And Cunningham and Carter claiming that Chris was pushed to no avail. And the 49ers will take over on downs with 2:07.
Well, even though you're up, you still got to try to get some extra help. It comes down. Yeah, God, I hope you're on my side.
And it was a bump by Maxey.
He hit him in the back.
Chris Carter's still upset about it, and you can't blame him. But the 49ers will take over on their 16-yard line with 2:07 to go. The next stoppage will be at the 2-minute warning. Chuck Levy. So Steve Young and the getting set for yet another big game. Second down and 8. Levy up the middle. And that'll be third down and short. Jason Fisk on the tackle. The Vikings are out of timeouts, and we have 1:50 remaining in this game. The 49ers, who lost their opening game to the Buccaneers on the road, then reeled off 11 straight before losing to Kansas City, and then defeated the Denver Broncos before losing their finale at Seattle. Randall Cunningham today with a Viking playoff record for 312 yards passing and 3 touchdown tosses. Third down and 3 for the 49ers. And the give is to Levy, who has stopped short of the first down. They came up against a superior team.
And they hurt themselves early. They never really were able to get any kind of a rhythm going, and that really is what hurt them today.
Tommy Thompson will back to kick with a half a minute remaining in this game. David Palmer at the 45-yard line. And he is tackled at the 47 by James Williams. Playoff history with the 49ers and the Vikings. Now 4-1 in favor of Minnesota. And they talked up this week the playoff game of 1987 when the Vikings defeated the 49ers. Anthony Carter with a big day. Steve Young's first playoff game ever as the Vikings won in the stadium.
Maybe now they'll finally stop talking about that game. I mean, every year they've played them in the playoffs. It always goes back to 87. It'll be 2007. They'll say, remember 20 years ago.
20 seconds remaining. Randall Cunningham. He dumps it off to Robert Smith, who goes out of bounds. 14 seconds to go. Randall Cunningham and Andrew Glover, the intended receiver, knocked down, incomplete. Terry Kirby with 2 touchdowns today. Cunningham dumps it off on what should be the last play of the game. And it is. The game is over. And the San Francisco 49ers have advanced to the NFC Championship game under their rookie head coach Steve Mariucci. And for the 10th time since 1981. Final score here in San Francisco. The 49ers winning today 38-22. And right now, let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, nice job.